So there's a quiet epidemic going on in hip-hop. I want to call it RSS, rappers scamming streamers. Before PlaqueBoyMax had it happen to him a second time yesterday, Aiden Ross was like the most obvious, most notorious example of this. That took place last year when we didn't have a Cardi album we were supposed to have in 2024. And Aiden was like, don't worry about it, guys. I'm going to have Cardi on stream, blah, 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 blah. We're going to link up and he's going to like make some music, only for him to basically troll, barely talk, and like be really, really awkward for like a couple minutes or like an hour. And obviously it's Cardi, so people are going to defend it and be like, oh, he's weird, he's autistic or something. Insert excuse, insert defense of Cardi. Obviously he has dick riders, and Aiden is not a very favorably liked person. When bad things happen to bad people that people don't normally like, there's obviously like a swan angel effect for the perpetrator, and the victim kind of gets overlooked because it's obviously fucking Aiden Ross. No one's going to cry for Aiden Ross, right? But Aiden Ross was patient zero in the RSS virus, rappers scamming streamers. He basically showed these niggas don't give a fuck. A lot of these rappers obviously are coming into a suburban, you know what I'm saying, gay community type of streamer and trying to find common ground or mesh together despite the cultural and historical differences they have. If you know anything about rappers, and especially rappers from ATL scenes like Cardi or Lil Baby, these people are very close. They work with the same producers. They oftentimes make the same song. They are very familiar with who they're working with. So when they come into these new streams and these content creators and these influencers, they kind of are out of their element. And when you're out of your element, you, even like little things as not being able to smoke weed, as you saw with the Fivio foreign situation, will knock these people out of their rhythm. These people are used to like basically rapping with muscle memory, with just almost no thought. A Fivio foreign or a Lil Baby type, these people don't really look too much into experimental music. They're more into just doing their similar flows over the same type of regional beats. So like in Fivio foreign's case, telling a drill rapper, oh, you can't smoke and we're gonna try some different beats, that's, you might as well just tell them to kill themselves, right? People like that, especially like Fivio foreign, he's like 32 years old. He came up when he's like 30, so like he's an old dog, literally cannot be taught new tricks. But him and Lil Tjay had a very like nasty attitude about them and kind of, you know, try to punk Max and like try to like low bro him, right? And obviously that's similar to the Aiden situation where there's a suburban to urban barrier there. It's kind of like unprovable, but you can kind of assume if this nigga Max was from the streets, something like that, or he was like a tougher nigga, he probably wouldn't be getting played with like this. But obviously Max is new to the industry and obviously not like a household name. They don't gotta respect him like he's a Kanye or something, like put up with bullshit, right? And with this situation, I feel like Kanye does kind of play into this. Kanye, especially in the 2010s, like 2014 and 2018, he had the young people on lock. His ways of showing unfinished work, like through Sunday Service or like through Good Music Fridays or things like that, where he would kind of put music on. I think we all mentally remember that 2016 Life Pablo show where he had like, oh yeah, Thug won't play some new shit, he played some Thug, and everyone like was bobbing their head to it. I think the streamers are kind of doing what Kanye was doing to a lesser extent. So yesterday with that Lil Baby stream with PlaqueBoyMax, right, I feel like that was Lil Baby's opportunity to reintroduce himself for free. These labels, these agencies, they try to make PR and good press for these artists digitally instead of manually. Like they literally don't have their artists, hey, I am like this. They'll maybe promote some stuff on the back end, especially with TikTok, have certain Twitter or TikTok accounts repost a song or review an album for them in order to change the public perception and public image of the artist. But what PlaqueBoyMax is doing is literally being like, hey, play your music. Hey, show us what you can do. Hey, show us what you got going on. And it's not very often I sit there and I watch a whole stream, but I was really wondering how a Lil Baby stream with PlaqueBoyMax would actually go. I was wondering this because I think that his best streams were with Xavier So Based and LaserDim. Two people who have very weird delivery, very weird experimental songs, very like interesting beat choices and word choices. These old industry dudes are the complete opposite of that. They don't want to experiment. They want to do old stuff. I think a good clip that like encapsulates this whole thing is when Max had this really nice sample of Ham by Kanye and Jay-Z off Watch the Throne, and you could see the divide when Lil Baby reacted to it compared to, you know, PlaqueBoyMax. He was very happy about the song, all like jumping up and down, having a good time, and Baby's just soulless on the side, like just doesn't give a fuck.
Hold on. What you mean I'm fucking? What you mean I'm fucking the beat up?
It like depending on like how you come approach something.
All
You
right.
approaching that motherfucker like that.
All right, how I gotta approach this shit, gang? How I gotta approach this shit, gang? Okay. So what would you get that 1 out of 10? That's a Jay-Z sample, by the way. Real culture shit.
But it's like in the way you laughing at your own joke.
No, I ain't laughing.
In
This
beat
shit.
form though.
Nah, this shit hard.
And it's kind of obvious these people see this as business. They see it as a like promo tour or something, like an informal interview. And I watched this stream. There was like some small gambling segments with like shooting basketballs and stuff outside that was kind of shady in and of itself. But what I do know was that he being Lil Baby was like on Max's head, like, yo, hey, I gotta get half the revenue from this stream, and like trying to be all like handsy about the bread, which is insane greed, by the way, because they're streaming this from Atlanta, and Baby was like very adamant, like, yo, I don't live in Atlanta, I live in Miami. This is like one of my cribs. This is one of my side cribs in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy greed to be like asking for money. When if anything, it should be the other way around. You should be asking to be on the stream. You should be trying to pay to be on the stream. That's like basically, I mean, maybe they probably did pay Max, but the promo from that is ridiculous. Like I remember Max asking Lil Baby like, when is your album dropping? Blah blah blah. Like, what do you want to say to the people about your album? And he was kind of bland, but it's like, bro, we don't know you're dropping. Like, it's not 2019 anymore. Like, Max has a very like age diverse fan base. I'd probably say from 15 to like 22 is his main like category, right? And these rappers gotta understand that is a demographic that you want to hold down. That demographic is going to age up and still mess with your music. These aren't old heads who are done listening to rap. These are possible faithful fans who could be going to those concerts, buying those tickets, and buying that merch. This is like the biggest self-investment you could like really do. Like if I was a rapper, I'd make sure I get on those streams and make sure I'm as well marketable as possible. But with Lil Baby on the stream, he goes and essentially they go through like beats right in the Discord, going through beats that they can rap on. I hear the beats are pretty interesting, and he gets to a beat that's like the most boring fucking beat you ever heard. Like I'm hearing the beat that Baby chose to rap on, and I'm like, this could be an Arby's commercial. This could be a Madden 18 gameplay trailer song. Like the beat that Max, who isn't even really a producer, made is way better than that, and he just chose that beat for some reason. I'm like, it's like the beat selection is almost non-existent for Lil Baby. But anyways, there's issues from the start with Lil Baby's producer, like his engineer he's putting up there to do it for him, which is kind of interesting because it's literally a PlaqueBoyMax stream where people come to watch PlaqueBoyMax and not Lil Baby. I mean, he's a side character, he's a guest, but it looks like he can almost put his mans on there so he can get royalties or something like shares from the song and be like, hey, it's my song, we made it in my house with my producer, and etc. right? And he was kind of doing things that like most men know. You know when a nigga's trying to call you sorry, like there'd be certain little parts where they would play the song back, right, you know, loop it back again, and Baby's like, oh, something sounds off, like why isn't my man's doing it? Why Max get off of it basically? And Max was like, all right, like, you feel me? But these rappers, I just don't think they understand, like through their thick ego or their thick heads, like this is how you come up. Laser Dim played his cards right. He came from like 200k monthly, he's up to 2 mil now. On Spotify, his biggest song is still Lace Max after all the sounds that blew up and all the stuff that happened with XXL, right? But Baby doesn't really need this, so he can kind of be like reckless and bashful with the way he handles himself because he's not underground, right? But he kind of like rat fucked Max with the way he just left like midway through the stream, which is just like kind of shitty behavior. But you know, you can do whatever you want, it's your crib, right? Max really made it work. You know, like Max is very good at like working through like horrible guests on stream. But in general, I feel like these problems are just arising from him not being taken seriously. I feel like Kai Cenat is like fully not taken seriously, but it works to his advantage. Like people like Aiden or Kai Cenat are not taken seriously at all. They're like very like goofy, small dudes who like run around with the camera and make jokes, right? Max is supposed to be a lot of things, like an engineer, now a producer, and actually a rapper. All while being a suburban nigga, right? Like it's a whole different thing that he's trying to do, which I feel like Kai Cenat would never get treated like this, but it's different for him because he's like the big bro, and he's not meant to be a serious guy. He's like a comedian at this point, right? So in short, I feel like this whole rapper scamming streamers epidemic is trying to bridge that gap between an urban rapper and a suburban streamer. And these rappers either not having the intelligence or not being able to pacify their ego enough to understand these niggas are big bro. They're gonna be like the biggest influencers, bigger than any media outlet. And it's clear as day, the reason why we have these boring songs that come out, these boring tracks, are because of yes men like Lil Baby's producer. The inability to go outside of your comfort zone. If you've ever wondered why your favorite rapper or why a certain rapper makes the same songs, because of people like this, they go to the studio with yes men and they get surrounded by yes men to have horrible music and horrible beat selection. This is why I really support Max and what he's doing by actually making people challenge themselves to do different things in different scenarios and different times, and creating a stage for a rapper to either embarrass themselves like how Baby did, or to impress us like how Laserdem did. But I can go on for a long time about this, so I'm gonna end it right here. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Bye.